You're in a noisy room. Conversations everywhere. Music, laughter. The kind of noise where you can barely hear yourself think. Your attention is completely somewhere else. And then, across the room, someone says your name. Your head snaps toward it instantly, involuntarily. You couldn't have stopped it even if you'd tried. How did your brain catch that one word from all of that noise? In 1953, British psychologist Colin Cherry ran a deceptively simple experiment. He put headphones on volunteers and played a different conversation in each ear simultaneously. He told them to focus entirely on what they heard in one ear and ignore the other. At the end, they could recall almost nothing from the ignored ear. Not the language, not the topic, barely a single word. But there was one exception. They almost always noticed when their own name had appeared there. Cherry called this the cocktail party effect. The question of why it happens leads somewhere genuinely strange. Here's what makes this genuinely strange. Your auditory cortex isn't blocking out surrounding sounds. It's processing all of them simultaneously. Every conversation in the room right now is being decoded by your brain. The words, the tone, the emotional weight, all of it at once. The filtering doesn't happen at the ear. It happens much further upstream, at the level of consciousness itself. Think of it as an enormous background process running at all times, and your brain quietly deciding, without consulting you, which tiny fraction of that stream you actually get to experience. Over a lifetime of hearing it, your brain has built a precise internal template for your name. The exact sequence of phonemes, the rhythm, the stress pattern. But more importantly, your name is deeply emotionally tagged. The amygdala, your brain's alarm system, treats the pattern of your name as an automatic high-priority signal. When that pattern appears in the noise, the amygdala fires before conscious attention has had a chance to engage. You don't decide to hear your name. You just do. The decision was already made before you were involved. Neuroscientists call this bottom-up attention. Automatic, involuntary, driven by signals the brain has pre-decided are worth prioritizing, regardless of what you're doing. It's the opposite of top-down attention, which is the deliberate focus you're applying right now. Bottom-up doesn't ask permission. It hijacks top-down completely. No matter how deep in concentration you are, reading, listening, working, if your name appears anywhere in the auditory scene, the signal jumps the queue. Your focus gets overridden before you've even registered that there was anything to respond to. Your brain did hear all those other conversations, every one of them. It just never forwarded them to you. Studies using EEG have found measurable neural responses to words in the ignored ear. Clear brain activity in response to meaning, even in people with no conscious memory of having heard anything. Your brain was parsing language, tracking emotional weight, watching for your name, entirely in the background. You have a constant subconscious surveillance system running at all times. You never gave it permission to exist. You never needed to. What the cocktail party effect reveals about consciousness is striking. Attention isn't a filter in the way most of us imagine, blocking things out at the gate. It's a bottleneck. Your brain processes everything that arrives. Consciousness gets to see only a small sliver of it. The cocktail party effect is a tiny crack in that arrangement, a moment where the background process becomes briefly visible. And if that process can silently track your name across a noisy room without ever telling you, you have to wonder, what else has it been noticing? Has someone ever called your name and you were completely certain it was real, only to look around and find no one there? It wasn't a hallucination. Your brain's name detection system simply fired on something that sounded close enough. Something in the room carried the right shape of sounds, and the alarm went off anyway. What do you think triggered it? If this made you think, subscribe to Wait Why. We drop a new question every week.